Mr. Pedro, I think we're happy to start as soon as you want us to start.
Okay, so you go ahead.
Okay. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 2021 edition of School Leaders Meetup. Do we have music, Eniola? And I'm very excited to be here this morning to have all of us in the room as we discuss some of the cogent issues for schools this year. To remind you, we had the first edition of the School Leaders Meetup last year, and it became an avenue to speak to the most cogent issues affecting schools, schooling, and education in Nigeria. Last year, the focus was about the digital transition that was forced upon us because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And this year, we have had proprietors everywhere start to ask that question. Some schools shut down last year. Some schools were on the verge of shutting down. And some schools, even though they did not shut down, started questioning the sustainability of the school model. And so today, we're excited to have some of the best speakers in the country to help us look to that issue about how do and our vision as a company is to improve learning outcomes at scale. So it's very simple for us. In terms of like the statistics of why this problem that we're tackling is important, right now we know that there's still about 10 million students out of school in Nigeria. So we still have a problem of access. But we have, as a world, as a country, we have still made some significant progress on access. But there's a lot to do about quality. According to UNESCO reports, also seconded by the World Bank, 9 out of 10 children in Africa, there are about 200 million children in Africa, 9 out of 10 of them, 90% of them are not learning even though they're in school. So when they did a test to evaluate their proficiency levels, they find out that most students at 6th grade level are still unable to read sentences or do mathematical calculations. And this is whether or not they're in private or public schools. And so we have a learning outcomes challenge, and this is what birthed greatly. Now, last year we launched, we had a beta version of our product that was officially launched in February this year, which we're really proud of. It was launched as the most advanced learning management system out there that you could find, and that had a locally relevant context and had content. So it did not come empty as a learning management system. But this year, there's been some evolution, and I just want to speak to that as I hand over to the panelists and let the program start and call it open. What we have done is the learning management system was so important for schools as they did not have the opportunity to physically be in class with students. But as the COVID-19 pandemic became a little less of an issue, it's still an issue, but it's much, we're in a better place now, thankfully. But as that happened, schools started to grapple with the fact that how much efficiency can I really get from learning, from using technology for learning? I have my textbooks, I have my paper notebooks, I have all these things that my gear, and is it worth the shift? Even though our students are digital natives, they use computers and phones for entertainment more than education. Does it make sense to invest so much in technology to make this happen? And so proprietors have asked us those questions. And in response, we understand that they use technology already for school management and things like report cards, school fees management, HR management, and so on. And so our question back to them was that, what if we had one app for everything? And the answer was, that's exactly what we want. So we decided to partner, and we are going to unveil our partners as we go further during this new session with schools that have now been able to populate our app store with relevant apps that not only handle, functionality in school, like attendance and so on, but like some other core functionality, like helping to get parents and managing admission and managing payroll, school fees, accounting, and so on. And so that parents can have one login to one system that has everything. And we're only able to do this because of the collaborative spirit of Nigerian companies and technology companies like ourselves, because we want schools to have something seamless that works, that's robust, and essentially, officially, we're launching Grayly as the one app for everything learning. Later down, I think during the breaks, you would see some of how that looks like. The one-click report card, something we're really proud of. For the first time, if your homework and exams are done online, then you do not need to go through any manual process of processing report cards. And that's something that we're also launching this new session. We'll speak more to this, but I'm very excited to have everyone here. And I want to say that we're happy to set the ball rolling. I hope I do get some time, Eniola, to speak again in between or before the end of the program. So thank you very much. And Ms. Ayokeji, back to you.
All right, Boye, thank you so much for that, Boye. I'm really, really excited. And I love what you said, Boye. One login to everything education. I really do like that. So good morning, everyone, and welcome to this year's edition of School Leaders E-Meetup. Our theme for this year is School of the Future, Profitable Models for Running Innovative Schools. So there are two key sides to this: profitable model, and the other is the innovative school. So I'm excited that we have really some of the best speakers you can get to speak to these sides, to both sides of the theme. So thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining us. And I believe that the organizers greatly partnering with Schools Compass, I believe they deserve a round of applause. If we're in a hall, we would have done that now. But because we're running this virtually, may I ask that you just put in your comments regarding this excellent topic? I believe this topic is really, really apt for the season we're in. So please put in your comments on the chat box. Please go ahead and do so quickly. Even though we're not in the same physical space, we're going to make this as engaging as possible. So go ahead and put in your comments regarding the topic for the day. Please go on, go on, go on, go on. We're on holiday, aren't we? So please, I'd like to see your comments rolling. Is this a great topic to speak to or not? I know it is, and I want to see, show some excitement. What are you looking forward to hearing here? Okay, thank you to people who have started responding. Okay, all right. So we have two keynote speakers today. The first keynote speaker is, this is a laudable initiative. Thank you so much, thank you. An exciting topic indeed. Thank you, Ifeanyiwa Jerome, for that. Excellent. So happy to be here. Ibrahim Abdurrahman, we're happy to have you too. Great topics in Bara. Thank you, thank you. Okay, now we have connected. So excellent, we'll go on. So we have two interesting keynote speakers. Dr. Robin Johnston of Nexford University will take the first keynote address. Then we'll have, yes, you're welcome to everyone saying thank you. Then we'll have Miss Bumi Lawson, who would speak to the finance side, two critical aspects: innovative schools and financially sustainable schools. So I'll just go ahead but before we do that, we do have a few things to do. As Boye has said, this is a platform where one app, but you have everything. In fact, one app, one platform, but you have everything education. So every stakeholder, from parents to students to teachers, everyone has something they can connect with. So I'm going to ask Shay to unveil one of this. It's called the rubric. So I'm going to ask Shay to please do this before we go on and take Dr. Johnston's keynote address. Shay, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. So we're super excited to be here, and thanks everyone for joining in. I hope you're excited as I am. So Eniola is going to drop a link. If you signed up before now, you probably got the chance to take the rubric. The rubric is essentially a link that just allows you to evaluate, how you are doing as a school and whether you're preparing learners for the future. So look out for it in the chat box. What the rubric does is you just basically just answer some questions, and then you'll be given a scale, and the target number is 100. So you should aim at 100. So what I would like to see is you take the rubric, and the rubric will just question some of the things you learned, some of your processes in your school, and then just give a scale on how well you truly prepare learners for the future. And what we'll be excited to do is to see your numbers here. Just take the rubric and then drop the number and say, hey, I got this, and this is what I'm going to be working on to get better. So that essentially, what is going on in the rubric. So thank you, and Eniola has just shared the link, the rubric. You'll be able to take you less than maybe 2 minutes to just answer those questions. And again, it's fun, be super honest. It's not test the exam. We don't have access to rating or grading any school. It's not that type of thing. It's just a self-assessment test that basically says, oh, this is where I am on innovation curve, this is how well I'm preparing learners for the future, and gives you a sense of what to do better. So yeah, that's essentially it. If you've taken the rubric already, I can do well to just drop your score here, to at least gives us a sense of where we are on an innovation curve, and gives us a sense of what we need to do to get better. That essentially will be all for me introducing the rubric. So the rest of the conversation will be in the chat box. So if you missed it, Eniola has just dropped it in the chat box again. So look out for the rubric link. And if you've taken the rubric before now, you can do it to just give us your score and be very honest. This is the place where we are honest and open and saying, all right, on innovation scale, I'm 80 of 100, I'm 0 of 100, definitely not possible. Yeah, well, and just give a sense of where you are, and yeah, we're going to take off from there. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much for that, Shay. Awesome. Wow, isn't this so exciting? There's something to help you check your level of innovation. So please go ahead and take that quiz very quickly, and you can post your score even as we go along. So we'll move over straight to our first keynote address, and it's going to be taken by Dr. Robin Johnston of Nexford University. I'll just share her profile quickly, then we will go ahead. Dr. Robin Johnston is the Chief Learning Officer at Nexford University. She's responsible, amongst other things, for overseeing all things related to the academic learning and career experience of all NXU learners. She has held executive leadership positions in higher education, human resources, and healthcare throughout her career. Her past experience includes being the Director of Academic Innovation for McGraw-Hill Higher Education and Associate Dean for Business at Excelsior College. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome warmly Dr. Robin Johnston as she addresses the topic, evaluating learning outcomes from schools. Over to you, Dr. Johnston.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for that warm introduction. I really appreciate it. And good morning. I'm actually in the USA, in the state of South Carolina, in Charleston on a little barrier island. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about just kind of the state of what's going on. As Boye said, we're facing challenging times. socially, economically, environmentally, and in the education sector. This is driven by the rate of change, digital transformation, accelerated globalization, and the pandemic. The future is really uncertain. We live in this volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous, or another word for it is called VUCA world. Survival strategies in a VUCA world are based on the principles of continuous adaptation and lifelong learning. Like businesses, schools must transform into nimble learning organizations that can easily adapt to a new future. If we think about children entering school now and graduating in 2030 and beyond, the jobs today may not be the jobs for the future. So how do we prepare students for that? What does the future of learning really look like? What does VUCA mean for schools? Will the focus on outcomes really shift to skills-based learning? These are questions to ponder and discuss a little bit further. Let's start with the question, what does VUCA mean to schools and outcomes? It means we need to rethink our current models based on standardized tests, lack of technology, lack of collaboration between kindergarten through 12th grade or high school, higher education, businesses, nonprofit, NGOs, and community partners. Schools and students are in an equity dilemma with increased poverty, environmental issues, lack of access to high-speed internet or the digital divide, and other challenges that we cannot anticipate for the future. It means that the metrics on how schools are delivering education and outcomes needs to focus on really preparing students for the future. We need to teach how to learn and critically think so that lifelong learning and a growth mindset becomes the norm. This is really learner-centered education. Sal Khan, founder and CEO of the Khan Academy, said, "The crucial task of education is to teach kids how to learn, to lead them to want to learn, to nurture curiosity, to encourage wonder, and to instill confidence so that later on they'll have the tools to answer the many questions we don't yet know how to ask." Throughout all of this uncertainty, how do we really prepare students for the future? Educators are increasingly recognize the need to educate in a way that broadens the student's application of knowledge and prepares students for lifelong learning. At the same time, within the workforce, there's a heightened awareness to reskill. Education and business are moving in parallel and speaking the same language by focusing on defining outcomes and providing a roadmap for success. This roadmap includes learning to learn, nurturing curiosity, creativity, and problem solving, adapting to technological changes and new innovations, and adapting to new environments. A greater focus on performance outcomes and skills has fostered a shift to connect fundamental knowledge and practical learning application, a more learning-centered approach. This translates into improvements in assessment, learning designs, and learner-centric delivery models where students can learn and demonstrate they really understand what they need now and in the future. Infusing knowledge in existing curriculum will include breadth over depth with experiences that are high quality, engaging, and focus on problem-based learning. How do we ensure we integrate and align the rigor and practical application in design, technology tools, and assessment with the current and emerging skills and outcome achievement? Clearly, digital technologies serve as the springboard to initiate the move towards innovative approaches in teaching and learning, just as changes in technology in the pandemic initiated the move from traditional classroom teaching to remote and quality online learning. As Boye said, it's really rethinking the interconnections and how technology can also be used as a tool. This is how we move from a school-centered paradigm where we move learners through group by age at an average pace through a standard curriculum and inherently sort them out by potential by achieving X on this standardized assessment or grades to a learner-centered paradigm. This approach is where a fundamental assumption is about who the learner is, what the role they play in their education, what roles adults play in a young learner's education, and what is required to make a learning environment equitable for all children. Furthermore, it covers how education is best organized. Therefore, instilling core competencies like critical thinking, analysis, communication, teamwork, and complex problem solving, and what learning really actually is, or how is this outcome measured. In the US, in kindergarten through 12th grade or kindergarten through high school, school outcomes based on key national education indicators are based on standardized tests, attendance, graduation from high school, college readiness, benchmarks in core academic subjects, technological literacy, and now 21st century skills, the skills that I just mentioned. Higher education outcomes are based on several measures, such as grades, persistence rates, retention rates, completion rates, and graduation rates, to name a few. Performance-based funding has been historically based on student achievement. That's either do you achieve a grade in a course or do you complete a degree. Over the past number of years, performance-based funding has shifted the focus on both achievement and improvement. The impetus behind the shift was to incentivize ongoing improved performance the size of the schools or the system may be a good start. I'm going to leave this for later discussion on funding. Outcomes are one measure of success. However, it really starts with high quality, relevant, purpose-driven, and engaging learning experiences for the long term. If we reimagine education with a future focus and use models such as completion by design, universal design, curriculum would infuse technology and analytics. This may include alternative remediation using next generation technology to accelerate or compress development or foundational course content that allows students to cover more ground quicker. Modularization that breaks the course into chunks of learning and enables students to progress at their own pace. There's also contextualization that integrates remediation into content, globalization that's really looking at the regional content, the local content, the national content, and more of a global focus, and personalized experiences, project-based learning that allows the students to really acquire the academic skills through authentic real-life activities and real-life assessments. This is really where innovation becomes very exciting. Although there are many innovations in education, the measure of innovation has been linked to standardized test scores. That's in the US, domestically, from my perspective, but also internationally, if we look at some of the OECD reports. Yet there's been a shift to more of an outcomes-based learning or more of a competency-based learning. No matter the model, the same principles really align. There are clear criteria of what constitutes learning and or the ability to do something. Learner support is provided. Learners are given time to achieve proficiency. It adapts to the learner's needs, and it goes much further than content. What learners are learning and why are they learning this? And how do we actually put this all in one system? With all this said, schools across the world are focused on new initiatives to address and improve the social, emotional, technological, and academic needs of their students, collecting data and working towards better outcomes. However, it's easy to overlook the fundamental question of how do we know whether the program that is really being implemented or is actually improving outcomes? To take this one step forward, if you're looking at an evidence-based or a known innovative program, whether in your country or globally, does it really work locally, regionally, or globally? Does it work, may work in one school, but it may not work in another school? So we need to look a little bit broader. As you evaluate the outcomes of your school or any new innovation, be sure to evaluate both the implementation and the impact. Many times we just look at the implementation rather than the actual impact of this. A few things to consider when evaluating a new initiative is really go beyond standardization of the outcomes data that you said you were doing. If you're writing a grant, if you put KPIs for a partnership with a business, look beyond that, because sometimes the behavioral changes take longer, and sometimes they're included in the short-term outcomes, but they really can't be achieved in those outcomes. Use multiple reliable measures. Consider implementation. Before you even do this, look at the factors that facilitate and hinder success. Look at lessons learned from other initiatives. Seek some external help for objectivity and utilize data to make improvements. Just don't make improvements to make improvements for that sake. There are many different paths to the future of education. Education is the place where we transform lives and build a better world. Get each country, each community involved, according to the OECD report on Back to the Future of Education, is really responsible for defining the way forward. Although tensions exist from resources, technical infrastructure, funding, paradigm shifts, and community engagement, outcomes will be really dependent on how we combine, how we use, how we manage, and work collaboratively to invest in the future of learning. If we think of what this school meetup is about, you're doing that. You've been taking these steps, and it's so exciting to see that. Thank you so much for allowing me to present to you, and I look forward to the discussion.
Thank you so much, Dr. Johnston. Thank you. We do appreciate this very well thought through keynote address. You said a number of things. I will highlight a few. And I'm going to ask participants to please just put in the chat box what you picked, one idea that you picked from Dr. Johnston's keynote address. Just put that, go ahead and type it on the chat box. One of the things that struck me, your many definitions of education. The first was education is about complex problem solving. I love the word complex. And I believe Nigeria, we have enough complex problems. Electricity, for starters, is a major complex problem. And if we truly educate the citizens of this nation, we'll find a solution to that. You also said education is a place where we transform lives and build a better world. Excellent. And it defines the way forward. Some other things, principles remain the same irrespective of the model. And 4 major things, or 5 things that the principles should look at: clear criteria for what constitutes learning. Learners must be supported, and we must give learners time to achieve proficiency. So education really is a journey. You don't go into a class one day and then you because you've passed an exam, you are there. No, that's not what we're talking about. And then education must adapt to learner needs, and beyond that, go beyond the content and focus on the why. Why are we teaching what we're teaching? So thank you so much. Very informative, very enlightening keynote address. So at this point, I'll just take a few of the comments, a few of the ideas. Consider implementation and impact. Great, yes. Good initiative, yes. So there are a number of things that participants have typed in the chat box, and we appreciate your engagement. Education is teaching how to learn. Absolutely. Thank you for that. Education has been result of evidence that there's so much more that's been written. Okay, thank you very much. So at this point, we're going to have our first discussion, and we have our panelists. One panelist, I'm sure, is around. And I'm just going to confirm that we have the other panelists in the house. All right. So we have 2 people. Or before we go on to that, I would just like to call on Sheyi to for the Gradely demo video. Sheyi, can we have you? for the Gradely demo video.
Yeah.
Dr. Johnston, there are a number of thank yous coming in for you. So very well done. Over to you,
Thank you,
Shay.
everybody.
All right, thank you, Mr. Pedro, thank you especially, Dr. Robin. You really set the mood, and it's clear right now that we all want to go beyond just delivering instructions to impacting, to truly changing lives, and which is one of our theses at Gradely. So I will just share a 1 minute video, and I would do like a debrief based on that in a bit. So I'll just share my screen over again. 1 second. Okay. Perfect. So we spoke a little about one app for everything learning just a while ago. And when we were discussing, essentially the thesis behind this is that we know what schools are doing, we know how much value schools are placing on making improving learning outcomes, and be constantly thinking of what type of technology supports them in a very comprehensive way, not just one technology that is doing it halfway or solving one part of the problem, but something that can be used for all forms of learning, all your learning concerns, and that's essentially what you're about to see. So I'll share now, and then I'll just give some conversations based on that. Provide some context to what we just saw. So essentially, that's what we just shared with you is a Gradely learning hub, and what we're trying to share, one screen that helps you show this. Essentially, what we've been able to do, we've thought through the process of what takes teachers time, and some teachers go in the last week of the term, at the beginning of the term, we spend a significant amount of time creating lesson plan and trying to mark assessments. At the end of the term, we spend a significant amount of time trying to create a postcard, right? We have so much lessons and we don't have like as much time to give one-on-one feedback on all of the things that is possible. So teachers focus on a lot of processes versus actual learning. So what we've done is to create a solution that helps you. First of all, with your assessments, there are banks of questions that are built, that are backed by the curriculum, that are tons of curriculum aligned questions that teachers essentially use. And you can easily create assessments in a minute. So homework, can create homework as fast as you want to. You can also conduct examinations, and examinations are proctored. Proctored means that you can detect when students are cheating the examination and you can keep the integrity of the exam high. Then there are pre-built video lessons that helps the students. So as soon as students' learning gaps are identified, these video lessons are recommended to just help them bridge those parts. So make sure that no student is left behind. There's a concept of mastery learning. Essentially, mastery learning means that you make sure that every single student master a topic before they move to the next one. Mastery is like 90%, and really is like the tool that directly supports that. So in addition to that, you can hold your live classes in one place, and then we are integrating with, we have like real admin tools that you use in your school for school fees collection and all that tools that you can find them on the App Store. So if you check the chat box, there's an opportunity to sign up on Gradely for free. And if you don't have a Gradely account, or if you have a Gradely account, there's an opportunity for you to sign up to see the new experience of Gradely, request for your trial to be experienced. So what we've done is that we are asking you to even try it, extend it. When you use it well, when you are able to see the value, then we can talk about how do you extend this for your school. But it's free to try, and it supports learners from kindergarten to SS3. So preschool learners are not left behind, support all types of assessment. And so there is even like a higher version, a more interesting version of Gradely that you'll be seeing in the next 1 month. So and I have like on good authority that is a special provision that has been made for schools that experience Gradely from the School Leaders Meetup. This for being part of this. So just do well to sign up as one of the schools that came from School Leaders accounts, and extra support has been created just for you. So that's it from Gradely. Gradely is like mentioned, is the one app for everything learning, from assessment to reporting to just making sure that no student is left behind. You can find a link to sign up on Gradely in the chat box. It's gradely.ng /school. So just gradely.ng and then click on create an account for your school. And once you do that, someone in the team is going to walk you. It's really intuitive. You can onboard your school yourself, and then you're also you're guaranteed support from a customer success team. That's pretty much it. You be sure we'll definitely be around to just give you more information and make sure you get the best from Gradely. So just see the chat box, sign up. As a school. If you are not a school, you're a parent, then you can sign up as a parent as well. Thank you. If you have 2 persons in your school on the same chat, just one person sign up is fine, and then the person can just invite you to the school account, so you don't have multiple accounts in your school. Thank you, Mr. Yokweju, and I'm enjoying this session already. And once again, thanks, Dr. Robin, for setting the tone. I can't wait for the panel conversations to start. Mr. Yokweju, I think your mic is mute.
Yes, Mr. Yokweju.
That's fine. Apologies for that. And there I was talking excitedly. I said, yes, we can't say thank you to Robin enough for this. She joined at 5 a.m. her own time, and that's a major, major sacrifice. So one more, thank you for setting the tone. And thank you for that, Shay. The one app, a one-stop place for everything education. It makes your work more efficient as an educator. So you focus on taking that learning journey with each child rather than on setting up your, writing the assessments, doing everything from the scratch. So very well done to the entire Gradely team for putting this wonderful app together. So may I call on, sorry for this. Okay, I'd like to call on Odu to give a brief to announce what Gradely is doing with the Teacher Academy. Odu, over to you. You have the floor. Odu is the sales manager of Gradely. Over to you, Odu.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. My name is Odu. I'm the sales manager at Gradely. So very quickly, I'm going to introduce you to the Gradely Teachers Academy. Actually, we've always had
Okay, I think Mr. Otun is having some challenges with that. Mr. Ekweji, is it possible to go straight to the panel session, and maybe during the break we can come back to?
Okay.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, I'm happy to do that. Okay, so we're going to have our first panel discussion, and Dr. Robin has graciously laid a solid foundation for that. So I'll introduce our panelists. The first person I would introduce is Mrs. Bolanle Adewole of the Learning Place. Mrs. Adewole is certified in the theory and practice of primary Montessori methods from St. Nicholas Montessori Center, London in 1995, and the elementary Montessori methods from North American Montessori Center, Canada. She further qualified as an applied behavior analyst from Florida Institute of Technology, the USA in 2013, and as an advanced certified autism specialist, ACAS, in 2020. She's the founder and executive director of the Learning Place Montessori School and TLP Center, both in Lekki, Lagos. Her primary focus is on raising the next generation of leaders. She set up the first full autism day school, TLP Center, on Lagos Island and its environment, and actively advances inclusive education at the Learning Place. She belongs to many professional bodies such as American Montessori Society, International Montessori Council, an association of Montessori educators in Nigeria, and a few others. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome warmly Mrs. Bolanle Adewole of the Learning Place. Also joining us is Chief Yomi Otubela. I'm not sure he's in yet, but I will just introduce him. Chief Yomi Otubela is a member of the Executive Council of NAPS. NAPS is National Association of Proprietors of Private Schools. He serves on that board as the deputy chairman, I believe, if he's not yet the chairman. He's also the founder of Yomi Otubela Foundation and the proprietor of Lagos Schools. Chief Yomi Otubela, I'm not sure is here, but once he arrives, he will join. Robin is still around, so we're going to be speaking to the paper presented by Robin, and it's entitled Evaluating Learning Outcomes for Schools. So the angle we're looking at now is the cost of running a school that delivers innovative education. You know, the pandemic showed a number of things. Number one, education cannot stay the same. It's not about paperwork, it's not about the old thing we believed in. That it has to be innovative. One of the things about innovation is you adapt to, you move on, you do new things. So Mrs. Adewole, I think I would start off with you. Can you please speak to this? What's, in your own opinion, at the costs of running an innovative school?
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for having me. First, I'd like to commend, can you all hear me?
Clearly.
Fantastic. Yeah, so first I'd like to commend Gradely for this laudable initiative. I have followed them quite a bit, you know, remotely, just watching what they've done. And over time, I have seen the growth, and I must commend you. A one-stop app for everything education. I like that as well, because it just means that in one box, you're able to capture everything and make all the difference that's necessary. So well done. And well done on this initiative to put this together. And thank you very much for having me. Dr. Robin's keynote speech was really impactful as well. I liked the fact that she said that there should be broad evaluation for implementation and impact. I think starting from that point of view in itself, knowing that it's not just the implementation, but after we have implemented, what next? And in order to be able to do this, it takes a lot, you know, a lot of things come to play. And most of what we have, when we talk about actual cost, you know, I saw that and I thought actual cost, would there really be a specific thing that we call the cost, because I think it consists of a lot of things. There's a lot of things that actually make learning impactful, that actually make the learner outcomes successful, that make them what we want them to be. So, I did think about it. And what I would say is, first thing, when we talk about actual cost of running a school, you have to be very deliberate and intentional about what you put in place. Yes, COVID came. Nothing prepared us for COVID. Nothing prepared anybody in the world for COVID. And who knows when the next COVID will come? So it's very important that whatever we do now, we're working towards the future. We're not just staying in this spot, or we're not thinking COVID is now over, so we go back to status quo. What it is we need to continue to move forward. And in order to be able to move forward, there are a lot of things that we need to put in place. A lot of interventions that already need to be there waiting before anything even hits us. And so in terms of running the school, the first thing I would say, what we did after COVID, so I'll talk straight from the point of view of when COVID came, because that was the unusual thing that happened to everybody. The first thing we did was to do a market research, because we wanted to benchmark ourselves against other schools. So the first thing we thought was, okay, this has happened, and it's happened globally. And so what is everybody doing? What do we need to do? It doesn't mean we're going to follow what everyone is doing, but it helps us create our niche. It helps us determine how we want to move forward, knowing that this is what is happening, and be able to place ourselves. So the first thing we did was that. And once we realized it was something that was global, and it was something that we couldn't quite control, we had to start looking inwards. The next thing we did was to look into our offering. What do we offer as a school? It's not enough to say that we were a school. Yes, we've been the learning place, everybody knows that. But at this time, learning place and every other school has changed. Something has changed about us. So what do we need to do? So the first thing we did was go back to the grassroots of our school to see what we had and what we didn't have. A lot of us had to go on board for online learning, which was, it was thrust upon a lot of people. Thankfully, we already had that in place. So it wasn't very hard for us to transition. I think they shut down the schools on the 23rd. By the 25th, the Monday after, we were already online. So it was easy for us in that way because we were prepared then. But now we need to prepare for the next thing, because we don't even know what it is. And this is where I want everybody's mind to be as well, in terms of preparing for the next thing, because we really don't know what will come, and we don't know how it's going to hit us. So yes, we went in to check the So we went back to check the curriculum. We had to make a lot of changes, a lot of adaptations, and all these things really did cost us a lot. So when I talk about the cost, I'm not talking just about financial costs, because it wasn't just financial. It was a lot of brain work as well. It was a lot of spiritual costs, financial costs, physical costs. It did a lot to everybody. So we had to work extended hours. We had to change a lot of things in our processes, in our structures, and in so doing, what I found to be very critical, the cost, I still call it the cost, was what we had to do with our teachers. Our teachers had to get a whole new orientation. Everything had to start. I mean, a lot of what we thought we knew before were changing, and we needed to change with the times as well. So we did a lot of training, but besides the training, we also needed, because at the end of the day, the teachers are the ones that would implement, and they're the ones that would teach the students. So we had to make sure we were communicating. Communication is extremely key. Otherwise, you find that you're doing whatever it is you're doing, and you're doing it alone. There's nobody going with you, or they think it's your vision. I don't know if you can still, are you talking to me? You're muted.
I've done it again, yes. So before you go on, can I just take you back a bit? You said something, you said before the pandemic, you had certain systems and structure in place, but you now needed to modify. Can you please be specific about those systems and structures so other schools listening can learn?
Okay, so some of the things we had in place before that was we had physical school first and foremost. So everybody came to school, and but the first thing we had to change was the online setting. But besides that, we also needed to change a lot of things with when I say the processes, we had to change things with the staff. We had to first, some people didn't come to school every day anymore. There was, in fact, for a long time, there was even no physical school. So that became a virtual thing. And we also needed to look in, because also not everybody was attending school. We changed our school fees. School fees also needed to change because people were not even willing to pay because they felt online school was not as it wasn't as impactful as physical school. So parents, so we had to also change processes with parents as well in terms of a lot of things that we would have insisted upon. We started to soft pedal a little because we needed to align with them. We needed to connect with our parents. So those will be part of this. So the things we changed the curriculum as well. So that was another process. So the curriculum was already set in a certain way. We had a lot of extracurricular activities that we offered as a school. We had to cut down on a number of them just because of the times, and a lot of them were physical as well. So all these things changed. What else changed? The school hours. So we had school hours up until 2 p.m. We initially changed to, even online, when we started online, we didn't go the whole number of hours that we went during physical school. So that was another thing that changed. We changed staff package. At some point, we couldn't meet up. And I'm sure a lot of people could not meet up. So at some point, we met up for the first 2 months in terms of full salaries. But after that, we couldn't quite meet up anymore. But before we could do anything, we had to engage the staff. So it wasn't something we just thought, okay, everybody's in it, the whole world is in it, so you must understand. We had to communicate with them. So we had a meeting with each and every single one of them. We had to send memos out. We wanted them to buy in. And for us as a school, we always want our teachers to be part of the vision. It's not just for them to teach. It's one thing to come and teach and just teach for your paycheck, but we don't want it to end there. We want you to understand the vision. So we all had to communicate that this is what we're going through at this time. And as a result, the process was we would pay you a certain amount by the end of the month, but that is going to reduce now. You can see that we don't have all the students in school. We don't have this. Another thing that changed for us was we changed the numbers in class. So we used to have a maximum of 25. The first thing was it changed to 16. So because we had to do social distancing. This was when we came back to physical school. So that was another process that changed. We changed the numbers, we reduced the numbers. And in so doing, we added more classrooms. So for us, the cost was, it was tricky because as much as we got less students, we found that we needed to open more classrooms and we needed more teachers to be able to open more classrooms. So it was very tough in that time, but it was something we needed to do to sustain ourselves. So we saw the situation we were in, but we weren't going to say because of that situation, our standards will fall. We weren't going to give the opportunity to drop our standards a chance. So for that reason, even though the numbers had reduced, so for those number of students that we had, we couldn't tell them to stop coming to school. And thankfully for us, we just moved, just before COVID, we had just moved into a location where we had many rooms. So we had rooms that had not been occupied. So these rooms we were now able to open up more classrooms and get more teachers in. So a lot of things changed. So if I could go on, and I know that I don't have all day to talk about this, but a lot of things changed for us. Yeah, a lot of things changed for us in order for us to be able to meet up. But the key things were just being able to pay the staff and be able to communicate with them.
So in the midst of all the transformation, how did you, and the high cost of innovation, as you've described to us, is not just the financial cost, even intellectual, spiritual, many other areas. How were you able to attract and keep your parents?
Okay, so the first thing I remember when I started, I said we needed to enhance our offering. So we made a lot of things attractive to them. So some things that we wouldn't have done before because we understood what we were in. It was now the, I can't remember the phrase we used then, but it was more the buyer's market. It was no longer our market, we were the sellers. So we didn't have it in our hands that way, and we needed to be able to keep them. So for instance, a lot of our school as a rule, if you didn't pay school fees by a certain time, you were no longer admitted into school. in that period, they didn't pay school fees and they were still very much in school because we needed to keep them. So those types of things changed in that way. But another thing, maybe I'll say to other schools, part of what kept us during the COVID, in the peak of COVID, was the fact that we had some kind of reservoir. And this I would say to every school, as you know, and I believe there might be young schools on this platform as well, who you don't try not to spend everything, try to invest or keep something as savings for the rainy day, because you never know when the rainy day will come. Our rainy day came, and when it came, what helped us was what we had saved. So when we were still able to meet up, there was never a month that we didn't pay our salaries. You know, yes, it was not the same, but even for us not paying what they normally would earn, it didn't last for very long. It wasn't a prolonged period. We were able to go back to full payment, you know, within a short time. But the reason we were able to achieve this was because we had saved. So this is what I would say to every school, that as much as, so there should be planning, even in your financials, there should be financial literacy. You know, there should be financial responsibility. So as a school, you're not just running the school from day in, day out on a daily basis without planning. So there's planning. Get financial consultants. It's very important that you have financial consultants that help you analyze your books. They're able to see the risks. They're able to see what you have. They're able to advise you on other things you can do. Because another part of what we had to do was we had to find other things that we could do as a school. We have, okay, and for us, and brick and mortar was even no longer the order of the day. So what we couldn't do, as much as we felt we now had a nice building that had a nice big swimming pool and all of that, all of those things suddenly became useless. You know, so we had to, and then we used to do after school care, that stopped. So begin to find what else you can do as a school, staff training. So what we started to do is we started to do trainings. So trainings of people who are not necessarily, but even that, to be honest with you, it wasn't like it earned us that much, but it was something that sustained. It was part of what we felt, okay, we can do this on the side, pending when we eventually are able to come back, if we ever will come back, and be able to but thankfully, we're pretty much, but even now that we're coming back, the problem we find now is that the cost of everything has gone up. So that also is a killer. So as much as you're not earning as much as you used to, you then find that, and I'm sure this is happening to everybody in Nigeria. So it's not just schools, because even in the markets, when you go and buy tomato is no longer the price of what it was, about 5 months ago. And every week or every month you go, it's changing. And this is the cost of everything else besides just the school. So with school, there's the diesel. There's even electricity doubled. You know, I couldn't believe what our bill became from December of last year. You know, so all of these things start to happen, and when they happen, it's very important that you have a plan. You have, and then HR. So financial consultant was one of the people we brought in to help us out. We also brought human resource consultants to help with the staff. The staff is very important. They're very key, very vital. Without them, we're nobody. So it's very important that they are made to understand, they buy into the vision, and they're happy, and you're able to move on in that way. So, I mean, those were the main things that I know have kept us, you know, the way I see that Mr. I'm sorry,
Chief Yomi
Yeah.
Otubela, yes, he's joined,
Yeah.
but I'll just give him a few minutes to settle in whilst I ask you this final question for this round from you. Would it be possible for schools to separate the future of innovative education from technology in the foreseeable future? What do you think?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't even see technology going anywhere. If anything at all, I believe every school should go on enhancing. So whatever you feel you have now, build on it, build upon it. Don't think, oh, we already started online school and we now can do what online school, things keep on changing. And because things keep on changing, you have to change with the times. And there's no way I see us being able to separate technology. Technology has come to, I mean, with all that we've seen in the past 1 year, 1.5 years, it's even now, right now, I'm not even in Nigeria, but I'm able to join this. And the time here now is 12 a.m. where I am, but I'm able to join in at this meeting. Yes, I'm able to join in at this meeting and be part of this because of technology. So if we've seen all what technology can achieve for us, why would we want to disengage? If anything at all, I think everybody should keep improving. Every school, if you want to remain a 21st century school, where there's need for critical thinking, need for collaboration, creativity, all those things, they're all in technology. And if you already separate yourself from technology now, then you're going to run into a bigger problem. And like I said, COVID came then. Yes, we don't know what's coming next. So always be a step ahead. Be a step ahead of the situation. Don't let the situation dictate to you. You dictate to your situation. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Mrs.
You're welcome.
I love that. Don't let the situation dictate to you. And thank you to Boye and Shay. Perfect time to post the links you just posted. They just posted a link about Gradely. So this is actually a very good time for Gradely to be doing this, to be supporting all the tech that schools need. So anything tech that you want to do, there's something on that Gradely app that you can plug into. So a warm welcome. Thank you for thank you so much, Mrs. Adewole. I'm sure I'm still going to come back to you.
I'm here.
But let me go over to okay, thank you. To Chief Yomi Otubela. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Ayopeju.
Yes, sir. Good. It's still morning, so you're very welcome. So we've been talking about a number of things. We had a fantastic keynote address by Dr. Robin, and she shared ideas on innovation and how learning is really about transformation. Learning is a journey, and all schools shouldn't just focus on the outcomes. The process is very important, and learners must be supported through this process. Of course, technology is something that would support this. So I'd like to just have you share your own thoughts on innovation. First, your thoughts on innovation in education, and then the costs. What are the costs of the innovation that you're going to share with us?
Yes, thank you so much for having me. And
your audio has gone low. We can't seem to hear you. If you can hear people, okay, yes, it's back on now.
Okay, you can hear me clearly now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you so much for having me. I just commended the last speaker for that wonderful job. She has done very well on the questions posted to her. I must say here that innovation is key to success of running school more than ever before. And more so when the children of this generation Z have come to learn through so many ways different from the traditional way of learning. Like others have said, technology is key to success in school. Secondly, is that we need to also understand that the children also are totally different in terms of the way they are wired. No wonder the expert has called them Generation Z. And adults, especially those who are giving birth to in the 70, 60 and downward in that manner, we need a reorientation. We need to unlearn our way of passing information and begin to key into what inspired these children. The children of these days are so smart, fast in learning. They don't want any method that will not consider the fact that they don't have the time to stay for too long. Their means of assimilation is so low these days that everything must come very at the snap of the finger. So we need to unlearn all this. And this generation also are faced with a whole lot of distraction.
In terms of robotics and so on and so forth. You can't believe it. I was there. I was invited as a guest of honor. And in fact, representatives of Lagos State Governor was also there. If you look at what these little kids are doing, you know, remote control that can move cars and so on, just the prototype. And I said, this is where we should be looking forward to. So we have the very formidable team looking into that one in Darwin College. We are looking into the area of coding and robotics. Now we are looking at the area of even school consult. And what do I mean? When you talk about school consult, you know, most schools we have the only source of income as the school fees. Are you looking at other sources? There are so many graduates in there that you cannot accommodate in your school system, and they are very versatile. You interview them, you have them, you know, as a bank. You say in your school teachers cannot engage your students at home for lesson, fine enough. So when you have these people in a bank, you can now recommend them to homes that are in their need. And then the little token of the percentage will come to you. Now, when you look at the 39 subjects introduced by WAEC, they call it 3 subjects, for instance. It's a very important one. You don't teach because of examination alone. Fishery is there, dyeing and bleaching there. You know, some of them can become celebrated medical doctors and want to have a fish pond at the back of their house because of what you have done. These are the areas we are looking at, and very many more, even community service and so on and so forth. You know, very important. So to me,
thank you.
Technology is important, and that's why we want to also partner with Gridley in due course. Their product launch, and I love their products. Congratulations.
Excellent. That's actually the way to go. The one app where you find everything education. So Upgradely, well done. Thank you very much for all those great comments, Mr. Olushesi. I understand Alaja Samira Jiber is back on.
Yes, I'm here.
Excellent.
Just
okay. Welcome. Yes, welcome back, ma'am. So my question to you, we're now talking about sustainable models for running innovative schools. And I know you've been running your school in that same way. And I just want you to tell us what roles parents play, or what roles parents should play for you to be able to run an innovative school. What sort of participation do you require from parents to be able to run an innovative school effectively?
Thank you for having me, and I thank Gridley for making this possible. In actual sense, I must say that there is a marriage between Gridley and Gleason, because we have our SMEs on ground. So we needed, that is our enterprise management information system. And we needed to, we've been having LMS, and we needed to integrate that. We started the courtship, and I think we've tied the knots.
Oh, now. Wow. Oh, wow.
That's good. It's great being here. In terms of looking at sustainability of schools, I must first of all commend all those that have been here before us, especially the overview given by Dr. Robinson on the growth mindset and education for future. While Mrs. Bolanle had actually told us the curves curveballs that we see in running schools that need to be sustainable. And I like our idea of the communication and participatory aspect, which now brings us to what you have asked me, that of the parents. How have we run it with the parents? Absolutely good thing. Technology, disruption, and everything that we are seeing around us, they are unexpected. And long ago, with our parents, we had an understanding that whatever form of education you want to give, it must be packed, partnering and caring together. To do so, the 4 elements of the C's are important. You have to put the critical thinking on board. You have to put collaboration and cooperation. And that is what had helped us all along the way. Number 1, when you look at whatever type of education you are given, I like what Dr. Robinson said about education for future. Most of the time, looking at education yearnings in Nigeria is all about exams and passing exams, all about the A's. And that has been the crux of our problem in this country. When you want to do employment, you see people with fantastic certificates and results. When you're going to go into the theatrics of doing that and getting the real people, bringing them on board, you might have to do 60-1. Therefore, we had to let our parents know that the type of education we are given is not just about academics. It is a total package, education for the future. I love what Mrs. Bolanle said about vision. What are your vision as a school? Ours is to make the child productive for himself and the society and the world at large. For that to be done, you now need the buy-in of the parents. You see some parents coming in with actually all they want is academics. And that is where we need to unbundle the mind, the mindset. The mindset is very important. Changing the habits and letting them know the importance of soft skills and social emotional learning. Quite key. Because when the mindset is still fixed on one thing, it becomes a little bit difficult. Again, whether we like it or not, the parents in our school are the shareholders, they're the major shareholders and the children. They bring the money on the table. How do you convince them to buy into whatever you're doing? We have them on board, we call them, and most of them are even techie. That's one other thing we must realize with the parents. They are very techie. So we seek their advice and collaborate so that we could forge ahead. Again, it's not about the funds. Today's sustaining whatever. It's not about the funds. It is even about our mindsets, because some of these things are quite available for us. And the logistics and however we change it really matters to help the children and the parents. For the parents, we have to empathize with them after bringing them on board. Everybody goes to the same market with inflation rates. So you look at, for us over the years, we could not even change our tuition fee. We have not increased tuition fee for 4 years or more. But we made them understand. We all know that inflation is this rate in the market. The laptop we are buying for so amount is now increased 40% above, and so on and so forth. Whatever you are doing in the market, we are all in the same market. And with that understanding, they know that some costs we have to be increased, not necessarily the cost of the tuition.
Excellent. Again, thank you, Ma. Let me ask you a question. Now that you're talking about parents, and I'm taking you into future innovations. You seem to have a very strong parent engagement process in place. Your vision is clear to the parents. Parents are happy to key into that vision. Parents support you. because you have such a fantastic crop of parents, and we're talking about sustainable models. Part of sustainability is that you're adapting, you're always doing something. So what are the future innovations that you are currently preparing for your school? I mean, September is around the corner. In fact, September is a few days away. What are those things that you're putting in place to wow these your parents further?
Well, I don't need to wow. We don't need to wow them because they're already there and they know what is happening. Thank you very much for that question.
Okay, let me recraft it. Let me recraft it. What are you going to do to sustain and probably take that relationship a step higher?
All right. For instance, what we've even done the last 3 weeks is to have extensive retreats for management and leads. That is the head of departments. And then extensive 2 weeks training for all members of staff, not only teaching staff, including the use of technology for all our members of staff, sanitary and everyone. And the parents were even involved in this. Now, going on forward, we looked at how we can, it's not about just doing the capacity building or whatever, leadership development, but how do you implement what has been done? And that is what we have done for now. Again, because for us, we did not stay within the construct of any curriculum. Of course, we operate the Nigerian curriculum or integrated curriculum as it is, because whether you like it or not, the world is now wide, that you have to take from here and take from that and build up what we have. Yeah. So we have been reimagining, resetting, retweaking, retreading to ensure that this is what we give the parent, because that is what the world needs. There had been trade-offs. For instance, our maker space is there.
Oh, wow.
Yes, we have a maker space, and that was where the birth of a non-humanoid robot came during the pandemic. The student did it online using technology to do all this.
Excellent.
Internet of Things, and so on and so forth. For sustainability of today's school to take place, you cannot run away from technology.
Absolutely.
And technology is not should be dumped, but it should be used. It's an instrument to achieve the goals that we need.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Technology is not to be dumped. It's an instrument that should be, it should be integrated with everything in the school. Excellent. Can I just take Mr. Olusese's final thoughts in 30 seconds or 1 minute, sir? Can you just share your final thoughts? Because we know you have to leave to join another meeting. You have the floor, and we do not take this attendance for granted. We're very appreciative of it. Mr. Olusese?
Hello?
Yes.
I'm back. Thank you so much. I appreciate this opportunity. And I want to plead with you to please pardon me that I'm the one rushing you now.
No
to me, we should look and think out of the box for us to keep relevant in the next, not few years now. Private education has come to stay, and there's no gainsaying the fact that they are even taking the lead. I received a mail yesterday, scholarship, for instance, from a body out of Nigeria. So candidates as students who appear destined to become values-based leaders, not simply students with the best GPA or highest test scores. Traditionally, the students who succeed in our application process and in our program hold a passionate interest in something and show strong evidence of that passion in the activities they pursue. To let you know the trend of things and what people are looking at out of there. So what type of students are you packaging for the market after they have left the shores of your school? For instance, we are keen more into leadership program, We have started. We are keen more into community service. We have started, but we see that even when you talk about A's and B's, as they are having bountiful harvest of A stars from your own school, students are also having it in Ghana, they're having it in Sierra Leone, they're having it in UK, and they are going to the same university. What else do they have that made them to have an edge over others? So these are the areas schools should be looking at now. And like I said, when they know the value and worth of what you deliver on your products, regardless of any corner you are in the world, parents will train you there. I need to submit that even while we had the lockdown, that one did not owe any staff a dime because parents were supporting.
Excellent.
They understood what they were benefiting. And that's the idea. I thank you once again for the opportunity. And God bless you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Time is fast spent. Thank you. We really appreciate this. Alaja Samira, thank you so much.
Yes, can I just take my
your
last
final
comment?
Thoughts? Yes, please.
Yes, thank you very much. For my, it's almost is in line with Mr. Oluse's point. The next generation should be career technical digital education, because we need to build the relationship with the children, the soft skills and the hard skills. And for them to be able to have integrated student-peer relationship, then have the real world authentic feedback. That is very important, so that they could fit in, be competent in whatever they do, and be able in the competitive world. So remember, the young people of today are frontliners in this struggle to build a better future for us. And that is what we must equip them with. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So innovative schools are going to have to equip children with not just knowledge, but skills and values. They must be passionate about something. They want to apply the academic and the skills they have acquired to doing. Thank you very much to all our panelists. We really do appreciate it. Thank you, Ms. Lawson, for sharing that information. Very quickly, time is really fast spent, but I'm sure this has been useful. Encourage the speakers, put something in the chat box. Participants, please put it very quickly. Encourage them and appreciate all they have put in. Because I tell you, to have held this thing, the amount of preparation that has gone into it, even before the dry run, is enormous. So thank you once again greatly. Thank you, Schools Compass. So I'd like to call on Boye now. Boye, you have the floor. This has been awesome. Thank you, David Awojobi. And thank you to all the people who made their comments before now. I noticed Mrs. Modupe Adeyinkaomi of Standard Bearers. Thank you, and everybody. Boye, you have the floor. Please go ahead.
I would like to say thank you to every single participant. After, just to give you a sense of what remains, we're going to conclude now, but there will be breakout sessions, special breakout sessions for those who want to learn a bit more in detail about teacher recruitment with Ms. Titilayo Durojaye of Blooming Light Montessori Schools. And then that's room A. In room B, we would have Mr. Yomi Ojo of Schools Compass talking about revenue operations, how to drive profitability, ideas to drive profitability, acquiring parents, and what it takes to get them and keep them. But before I then allow us to go into this room A or room B, I want to just specially thank Mommy Alaja Jabir. She has been of immense great support for us. And she's one of the leading lights of our generation for using technology. Gleason International Academy is one of the schools I've seen that have really embraced innovation. And I want to thank Mr. Olushesi, even though he stepped out. Doane College is a really great friend of the house, and they also are very keen about innovation. I want to talk briefly about something we're doing in Gradely for schools in this new session. In fact, just before the session, maybe I would just share my screen, since I would have, yes, let me just share my screen so you can see what I'm talking about. Apologies. I don't know if you can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Great. So you can see a
We
flyer.
can, boy.
Perfect.
Yes.
So what we are doing is that we are working with all of our subscribed schools, all the schools that are basically subscribed to Gradely, and as well as all the schools that may not have, but are willing to participate in this. It's a 1-month teacher academy. There'll be flag off for this academy training will start on September 17th. To be a physical event in Abuja. And we're encouraging, if you are in Abuja, to give your teachers the opportunity to participate. More details will be shared to all of us via email. But it's not just for Abuja schools. We will be streaming it live so that all schools across Nigeria can also participate. And once that event is essentially going to be a course demo to show you the different areas we want to talk through for teachers. We think that teachers are the ones that we are entrusting with that transformation and innovation that we are putting in our vision and saying we want to do. So we'll be teaching teachers on lesson planning. We'll be teaching them about effective lesson delivery methods. How do you personalize the classroom so that you are attending to every child wherever that child is, whether your class is a 20-student class or a 30-student class. And then I think I may be sharing the wrong one. Anyway, so the third thing is, you may not see it on your screen because I think I'm sharing one that has a repeat. But the third course is not design techniques is differentiated assessment methods and remedial methods. Sorry, let me share the right one. Apologies. So now I believe I'm sharing the right one. So the third thing, nope. Give me a sec. I just want to make sure that it's the right one. But essentially, the third, even if you can't see it, the third topic we are discussing is differentiated assessment methods, and lastly is remedial methods for mastery learning. So number 1, lesson planning. Number 2, lesson delivery. Number 3, assessment. Number 4, remediation. That's all. And so it will take 4 weeks, 1 week for each of these courses that would address each of the things I just mentioned. And we have great speakers who are, and it will be a hybrid course. So it will have, on the flagship day, you would have a physical event. And also if you want us to send someone to your school, you can discuss that. But most of the time you would have a session happening within your school, but is online streamed because the videos have been recorded and so on and so forth. So if you want more details about this, you will get that in your email. Just wanted to introduce that to everyone. But we have Agatha William, we have Mr. Adebayo Alomaja, we have Mr. Yokwetu Ndijiaka, we also have Mrs. Daniels, and another speaker, Miss Gloria. So we have quite a number of people who are helping. Miss Daniels teaches Montessori school, and she's a certified Montessori tutor and helps people to get certified in teaching using the Montessori methods or curriculum, as you may call it. And so it's going to be powerful, and I want you to participate. If you are a subscribed school, there's a special offer for youth. I think we're giving two of your teachers for free. And then if you're not a subscribed school, you subscribe or pay for this and just be part of it. The price is just 10,500. So you hear more about it as we go on. In order to close, like I said, Eniola, please let us know if we're ready for the breakout sessions. Eniola is here. Please let us know if we're ready for the breakout sessions. Sayokweju, it would be good if you can just do I'll do a vote of thanks, and then you can done a summary.
Absolutely. I'd like to say a big thank you to Gradely for putting this together, and of course to Schools Compass for supporting Gradely on this. When I saw the theme, I knew it was going to be great, but I didn't imagine it was going to be this great. So clearly we've learned a lot. We've looked at sustaining innovation in our schools. We've looked at how to plan our finances, but the beauty of it is these two things are tied together. If you do not have a good school, how are you going to get finance? How are you going to get money? How are you going to get people to pay for the value you are giving them? So it all starts with the why of why you've set up your school. What differentiates you from the next school is all about, it's not just about math and English, but about that other extra thing you want to do. And Greatly is here to support you, whatever it is you want to plug into. It's one app for everything education. So I'm going to encourage you not to leave at this point. You're going to go into the breakout session. It's been an exciting time for me. My name is Ayokweju Njideaka. I didn't introduce myself properly at the beginning. That's something I keep doing. I just dive into the work. So my name is Ayokweju Njideaka, and I run an organization called Nurture House Consulting with a team of other educators, and we support schools to deliver on various things, education. So that's fine. So I'm going to encourage you to stay here. Okay, I understand that we may have a slight challenge with one of the breakout rooms, but we'll sort this out. Just give me 1 second. We will sort this out. Okay, so what we're going to do is that I'm going to call on Yomi, who will take over. So thank you so much to everybody who has been a part of this. And we will focus on teacher recruitment. Thank you very much, Greatly. I look forward to the teacher academy. I really do look forward to that. And I look forward to sharing on the remedial aspect of that. So thank you very much. It's been 3 hours, not quite 3 hours, almost 3 hours of fantastic information, learning, and I hope that you all have listed your action. If nothing else, go and refine your vision so that you can attract good funding. Thank you very much. I'd like to hand over to Titi Yomi at this point, who's going to focus on teacher recruitment. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Ayokweju. Does it mean I'm automatically in my breakout session? Or you're handing me over to the whole?
Yes, I'm handing, yes, so that's what you're meant to do. We have a glitch with the other room, so we're just gonna take everybody on now. So you have a large class, larger than you planned. Enjoy it.
You can see my face. It doesn't look like I'm about to enjoy it.
You're gonna enjoy it. Trust me, you will enjoy this.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you,
You're welcome.
Well done. I mean, it's a lot of work to coordinate this in a lot of hours that you've been talking. Thank you. And also, I want to say a big thank you to Sheyi and Boye for inviting me. I'm very honored. When Sheyi had spoken to me about it, I said, I'm not a school owner. I don't know what I'm going to be able to tell school owners. Oh, did I just get bumped off?
No, you're on. We can hear you clearly.
Can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you clearly. Please go on.
Oh, did I get off at some point?
No, you didn't. No, you didn't go off at all. Just go on.
Oh, okay. Okay, just give me 1 second. I do.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please don't go away. She's trying to resolve this hitch. She's gonna come back shortly. And so whilst we're waiting for her, please check your chat box for all the links you may have missed. Yes, Titi Yomi is back now. So Titi Yomi, please go on, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you so much. I was saying that I'm so grateful for the invitation, and I'm very honored. It is actually my first time speaking to administrators and school owners. And so when Sheyi had told me to do that, I said, do I know enough to speak to them? They know a lot already. All right. I'm trying to share my screen now, and I'm just going to, it's saying I can't share. Is anyone sharing their screen right now? Maybe that's why I'm not able to share.
No, can Titilayomi be activated or be allowed to share her screen, please?
Yes, please.
Can you try again, please?
Can I do that now?
Yeah.
Yes, you can. Please try it.
Okay, I'm about to do that now. Okay. All right, share. Okay. Are we seeing my screen?
Correct. Yes, we can.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. I'm just going to move the button over so that I can see myself. So she had told, Eniola, thank you again for all the support. I've been asked to speak about recruitment. So what I wrote down here is, how do I recruit future ready teacher? And quite frankly, when I thought about it, maybe because I work in a school where I am supporting children with disabilities. It makes me quite a mundane person. So forgive me if you find our interaction today to be quite mundane. You probably are not going to hear what you heard from the very intelligent and important people who spoke before me. You might not be hearing collaboration, creativity, critical thinking. You're going to hear things that are much more basic and just quite everyday from my session today. So I'll go right into it, which it starts with, who am I? I'll tell you a little bit about me. I'm a mom to a 7-year-old child, a son. I am a teacher. I'm also a school leader. And then I am a special needs mom. And actually, that is how I found my journey into education. My background was in public relations, and I moved into education because of my son. And I'm so grateful. It's been a fantastic journey so far. So that is me. By the time we're done today, what would I like you to take away? I want it to be a very reflective interaction today. And I want it to be that you will go back and reevaluate the way that we're doing things already. And the first thing that came to my mind is, so I want to recruit a teacher who is future ready. I think the first question is, am I myself future ready? Because there's a saying, it takes one to know another, right? Am I on? Okay.
Yes, you're on. I can hear you clearly. Everything.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I wasn't sure. Okay. So I said to myself, it's so hard to come by, at least for private schools. I work in one, and I know how we can come up with lofty ideas, but we don't have budgets to support them. So did we prevent waste? What could we have done better? There's a need for review, critically analyzing all the steps that we took. Were they the best steps to arrive at this end product? Was it worth it? The resources that were committed, was it worth it? Now, also when we review, do we document? Do we document? Because data is everything. And that's where technology comes in. How do we document? How do we preserve frameworks, confidential documents, agreements, everything, school records, all of that? Did we take feedback on the go as we were moving, beginning from preparation stage? Did we take feedback? And lastly, did we celebrate and reward success? Because that is crucial. In a team, everyone wants to feel appreciated. Everyone wants to feel like I belong, right? I contributed my best to this outcome. So it's very important that we celebrate and reward success. Now, what I said, and this may sound very simplistic, please forgive me, but what I said is, if as a leader, as a school owner, as an administrator, if you can say, I'm future ready, if you can say, yes, 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 I'm future ready, then congratulations. There is no hitch in hiring a future teacher. And it might sound simplistic, but honestly, I think that when you've dot all those I's and you've crossed all those T's, yes, I have 2 minutes. Yeah, I'm fine in 2 minutes. Then hiring successfully will never be a problem. And very quickly, in 1 minute, I will share with you, as the coordinator of the special education unit in my school, what I look out for when I'm at an interview and I'm about to hire a teacher. I want a teacher who is curious, very curious. Because you see, if you're not curious, you can't learn more. I want a continuous learner, someone who understands that an educator is a lifelong learner. I want empathy, because you're dealing with a vulnerable population. They are children with disabilities. So it's very important to me that you have empathy. Do you have a mindset of inclusion? Do you understand that pupils have a variety of ability? Do you understand that? And are you ready to make provisions for them in your classroom? Do you appreciate data? Do you keep data? Do you document? Are you a happy person? If you're not happy, you cannot be with my children. Are you very expressive? And lastly, are you an advocate? Because my children with disabilities are constantly needing advocacy. So, and of course, you have to be tech savvy, because how else do we achieve things in the most easiest way other than technology powering what we do? So, like I said initially, the future looks different for all of us. What I'm looking for in a teacher is different from what you're looking for in a teacher. And that's just because our future is different. So what's your future as a leader, and are you future ready? Thank you so much. And that will be all. Thank you for listening.
Super instructive.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you, Teacher Yomi. I'm sure everyone has been. Thank you. Oh yeah, David Dawojobi says clap, 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 clap. I'm sure.
Yeah, I paid David to do this.
People are clapping.
Did you catch that? I paid David. I paid David to do this.
All right. I did. Okay. Oh, just to encourage. Anyway, very well done. For first time, that was well done. Even David is laughing. If you don't mind, please stop sharing your slides now. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been amazing and creative session. Excellent presentation. That's from Mrs. For staying on to this time. Thanks to Mrs. Mobola, Olari Bear as well. She's from Ikija Day School. She's here as well. Thanks to everybody. We appreciate everybody. Umani, patience. 3 hours plus on a virtual conference, and you paid attention to the very last minute. You deserve a round of applause. Please celebrate yourselves, and you deserve a treat, whatever it is that will make you feel special. Please do it, but don't go over. I don't know if Sheyi or Boye, if anyone has any other thing to say, then you may have the floor, and then we'll formally bring this to a close. Or Eniola, who wants to say anything? So, ladies and gentlemen, please remember to click on all the links. Greatly will definitely be in touch. We will share recordings, we will share the slides. But remember, everything you heard here today, a lot of these things are probably not new to you. They're not new. If you do not implement all you have learned, or most of it, that means that you would have spent 3 hours plus doing nothing. It's not enough to hear, but you must do. So get in touch with Greatly and register for the Teacher Academy. What you'll be paying, for those who are going to pay, what you're going to be paying for that Teacher Academy is approximately 2,575 Naira per week. If you were to get each of the speakers to do it outside Greatly, for me, I know how much I charge per day or per course when I run these courses. You cannot get this for a better price anywhere. So I encourage you to sign up for that Teacher Academy, and you'll be glad you did. You're going to learn a lot more than you ever thought you would. So, ladies and gentlemen, Sheiboye, you're not coming on. Thank you to everyone who put this together. And I thoroughly enjoyed every minute of it. Enjoy the rest of your day, and all the best next session.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks, everyone. Bye.